Okay, so it's down to the wire. I've learned one thing about wiring guitars over the years, and that thing is nothing. So what I think we have here is obviously toggle. On the pots, this seems to be the volume, this should be the tone. The capacitor is usually on the tone, so I'll work under that assumption. Then from there we have the red one was the neck, so neck hot will go somewhere here on the toggle, I would think. Then bridge hot will go connect to the toggle as well. Then we'll ground these two. And then we have, this is the confusing part. My guess is this will connect to the output jack. And this third one should be something like ground, I would hope. And the worst that could happen is I get electrocuted, but that's fine. All right, so we'll start with the easy part, output jack. Oops, nope, this is not gonna work. So, the output jack goes in here, and it can't go any further because there's some wood in the way. And it's still on, oops. On this side, it's still sticking like at least ½ an inch, so, and I don't have this, so looks like I'm gonna be filing again. Let's see. There's gonna be a lot of filing. Yeah. So it needs to go all the way in, and you can see this, hopefully this wood in the way. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this, but we'll try something. So I wanted to see what my other kind of Strandberg-ish looking guitar looks like on the inside. You can see there's no obstacles here in front of the output jack. Like it goes straight in, there's plenty of room. Whereas here we have this just wood that stops the whole thing. So now I have to kind of follow the whole thing so the jack would go through. So on to filing. So this really surprised me. It just looks like a complete design failure. So I'm surprised to see this, and I don't think I'm missing anything. It's just the wood is in the way. Very interesting. So I'll just keep filing here. Oh, and another thing. You probably noticed, just a fun fact, you probably noticed on my other guitar, instead of this, your typical black coating, they used copper, which I did not know is an alternative to prevent interference here in this area. So yeah, just a fun fact. That's the first time I've ever seen copper instead of your typical black coating. Alright, so I filed as much as I could to help that output jack get in, and then actually took a little hammer and gently pushed it in, for lack of a better word. Okay, well, I just hammered it in, like the last couple of millimeters. So this is where it is right now. right there. It's in. Looks okay on the outside. Goes in. You don't hear the usual click, which may be a bad sign, but it goes in. So, all right, this is where we are. So before I go any further with wiring and soldering, I'll go ahead and put in the knobs so the pots don't dangle all over the place. I'll start with the volume. And before I start soldering, I think I figured out why I have this issue with the jack getting into the wood. Looks like the way this was designed originally was for the jack to go this way from here. But for whatever reason, they drilled the hole on this side, which that's fine because I like when the jack is hidden behind this part. It's just how they should have done something about this wood sticking out and getting in the way. So anyway, wiring. What we have here is red is bridge. No, red is neck, black is bridge. So we're gonna do hot bridge, which is the white one. We'll go here on the toggle. Ground will go on the volume pot, right there. And then with the other one, we'll put it here for the hot, and again ground it to the volume pot here. This main ground will go on the volume as well, and then coming out of the volume pot we have a black, which is ground, and a white, which is hot, and those will go in the output jack. This third one coming out of the same bundle is a mystery to me at this point, so I'll play it by ear, but I may need a plan B here. Let's see how this works out. Again, this is bridge, so it needs to connect. Hot bridge. Okay, time to do wiring. Probably a good idea to mount the switch on the other side before starting the wiring process, but I did not do that, so we'll deal with it. Okay, this one's there. Let's do the same with the neck. Yes, that is the neck. It will go here on the other side of the toggle. I'll probably do something like this at this point. Push it through. Bend it to hold it in place for a little bit. Come on now. And there. This will work for a few seconds. Okay. And then ground and ground will be on the volume. Now, time to solder. I've never soldered before. My closest encounter with soldering has been watching my dad. When I was a kid, he was good at these things. I've never done it in real life. So let's see where we go. Where we go first? Let's try this one here. Hold it in place for a little bit. Okay, this doesn't look too bad for a first try ever. By the way, I'm using a 30-watt soldering iron. From the research I did, people recommend 40, but so far so good. This one is working just fine. Okay, moving on to this little guy here. Alright, so far so good. Moving on to ground wires. Okay, I hooked it up and there was just a lot of buzz, just buzzing, 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 nothing else. So I grabbed this one and kind of touched all of these components. Nothing changed on the switch and the pots. But when I connected it to the third prong here, on the output jack, the buzzing completely stopped. And then what I did was I just touched this and this a little bit, and I could hear a sound coming through the amp. For whatever reason though, the pickups are, the toggle is backwards. So next step will be solder the ground to the third prong and then unsolder these two and swap them. It doesn't make sense to me because I'm sure the red one was the neck and the black one was the bridge, which is how I have them here. But regardless, that's where we are and we'll work with it. Seems to be holding in place good. Okay, so plugged it in again. Everything is good. Switch is connected properly. No buzzing, no background noise, nothing. Sounds real good. Okay, so at this point, and again, this is something I should have done in the very beginning. I need to mount the switch and we'll get her done. Boom. Face is good. Got these. These are working. Switch is working. Oops. Except this pops out. No biggie. Wiring done. See you in a little bit. So at this point, we're 4 bolts away from having a complete guitar. Well, 4 bolts and a set of strings, to be precise. But that is what the neck is going to be like. This is it. Okay, time for strings. This is the easy and fun part that I've actually done in the past. If you've never restrung a headless guitar, don't worry, it's real easy. It may seem a little confusing because you actually have to use tools other than your usual wire cutters, but it's real easy. All you need to do is loosen the screws on this side on the bridge, loosen the screws by the nut, and then just slide them through. Fairly simple. There we go. Here's the first one. There's only one thing you need to keep in mind. If you get like a new bridge, more than likely your saddles will be on this side. You need to make sure they go on toward the neck. Why is that? Because once the string is in place, you're gonna add tension with the tuners, and the tuners will go this way. So if your saddle is all the way to the right, or my right, your left, then you're not going to have any room for additional tension. So that is pretty much the only thing you need to keep in mind. The rest of it is real simple. There you go. Okay, good to go. So now that the first string is in place, just pull it as hard as you can and lock it in place with the Allen wrench that you have. If you have one of those guitars, chances are you got a million different Allen wrenches. So okay, little fret buzz, that's fine. It's still very loose. See how the saddle is moving this way? Sounds pretty good. No fret buzz, always a good sign. Moving on to the next one. Totally out of tune, but no fret buzz. I'm happy with that. Next, let's just cut these. That's it. We have a complete guitar. In conclusion, this turned out a pretty decent guitar. Lightweight, easy to play, decent sound, fun project to work on as well. So if you've been considering doing something like this and are still undecided, just go for it. Get yourself a kit and play with it. It's a fun experience. It threw a few curveballs at me, but that made it even more fun. And speaking of curveballs, this string nut on the second string just popped off, so now I'm missing the second string. When I was stringing the guitar, I noticed that the string nuts were kind of not very tight, kind of loose, and they were not sitting there solid, so that one just popped off. I have a full set of string nuts on order, but it's not going to be here for another week or two, like a completely different design. I just didn't like these from day one. So for today, for playing and demo purposes, I'll just go old school Max Cavalera style, and we'll play with as many strings as my guitar happens to have. Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video somewhat helpful and not super boring, and we'll see you next time.